morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, January 4th at about 10:36 a.m. and I've come back into the woods to do some more wood cutting, taking advantage of this snow-free period again here in early January. It's 2.5 degrees. It's pretty cool, but I thought I'd get back in here at least one more time. So yeah, the work never ends here on the farm, folks. If you've ever had the dream of having your own hobby farm or any other type of farm, all I can say right now is just forget it, because the work never ends. It never ends. You're just constantly working, constantly fixing things, constantly digging up things, constantly planting things, constantly cutting things. It never ends, folks. Anyhow, here's the tree I was cutting the other day. I was taking branches off it, and you can see the remains of the branches over here and over here, the smaller branches that were at the top of the tree. And now I've got to try and deal with this main trunk, and it's a bit of an issue because it's as you can see, it's held up still on the one end about 8 or 9 feet high on the main remaining trunk, and then down here it's held up with one branch right here, and then another branch over here I think is holding it up a bit, not a lot. It's mainly this one here, and you can see it's been driven right into the ground here. I can try and cut through here, but it's going to bind almost certainly. So what I think I'm going to do here is make a cut right here, and this will allow this big section to fall down. This piece will fall down here as well, and I'll be able to chop it up first. And then it's a matter of dealing with the rest of this, which could be difficult because it's quite thick. It's about 1.5 feet diameter. So we'll see how it goes. This is a bit dicey, this one. It could be the death of me. So I thought I'd record this just so there's a record of what happened to me. What you always want to do is make sure you clear your workspace where you're going to be cutting, because you don't want to be having to try and run out quickly in case the tree falls over towards you. You want to be able to get out quickly. If you're tripping on branches, you're not going to be able to do that. So you want to clear your workspace, get it open. Now the real trick with cutting a big tree like this that's leaning like this is that as you cut down with the chainsaw, because all the weight is pressing down on the log in a horizontal fashion, as you make the cut deeper and deeper, the tree tends to start collapsing upwards on each end, and then it will bind your saw. Your saw will be stuck in there and you hardly ever get it out. That's where a wedge comes in handy. If you have a wedge, you might be able to re-wedge the tree apart and get your saw out. But the other approach you want to take is you want to cut down maybe halfway from the top, or a bit beyond half perhaps, and then come up from the bottom, and then when the crack opens from the bottom, it's splitting this way, so your saw blade isn't going to get caught in there theoretically. So we'll see if that happens. Okay, so here we go. Just to repeat, I'm going to try and cut down maybe halfway or so from the top, and then come up from the bottom. And I have to be careful that this log doesn't try to roll over towards me. So I've got a good cleared out area here, so if I have to move fast, I'll be able to. Yeah, the log has closed here completely, so I made a good decision to come down to the bottom. Now it still may bind on me a little bit down here. We'll have to see. I hope not. Don't know what's holding it there now. There's not much there. Looks like she's going to spring my way a bit. I'm just going to see if I can push it over this way maybe. There we go. So that worked well. So there's that end section freed now. And this is the branch that was sticking into the ground. I'll cut that off. And then I'm going to section this piece right now. And then the plan is to go up this part. And I may cut it somewhere in around here for the next cut. So just gradually bringing it down section by section. That's the plan. So the blade on this saw is 16 inches long, and that's typically the length of firewood that you cut. So when you're bucking up a log, you typically cut them in 16-inch sections. That's sort of a standardized length. So I'll just use the saw blade here to measure, to make some small little cuts, just to measure the distances between my cuts. And that'll give me the length of each cut. So you'll see me go along here just making these short little cuts as markers. There, fairly even cuts along the log, and now I'll just cut it up. and I kick it. Not quite. I may try the other side here. There we go. Nice. Now up at this top end, I think I may just cut it this length here. It's going to be less than 16 inches, but I'll cut it here because that's where the two trunks meet. I'll be able to get a clean cut through and take this piece off. Then I might take this piece off. I'm not sure. It's just so wide here. It's like 2.5 feet wide, so I couldn't even cut through it with my chainsaw very easily. Then I can get a few simpler sections here, I think. And then there's another big wide section here. So I'm not sure how much I'll get out of this. There's that piece. Well, I made it. How about that? How about that? Made it through that odd shaped thing. There we go. Another chunk. So I think that's all I'm doing in this session. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces that I can take out of here. This section of tree is quite thick, 16 inches plus. My saw could just barely get through it on one diagonal. And this is the biggest piece I took off this end of this trunk here. There's a bit of rot in it, but by and large the wood is still good. There's still some good wood here. This might be tricky with the branch, but I can probably take a section or two out of here and maybe one here. And then all this still remains, although I'm not sure how much I'm going to get of this. In some respects this would be good because it's actually narrower here than the pieces I was cutting. Not good for my broken back. Be doing that. So there we are, folks, another trailer load of larger wood. The good thing about this wood is once you split it, you've got 4 or 5 pieces of firewood. Of course the chopping does require energy too, but I like axing. There you go. Another pile.